everyone and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at team of the season in the Premier League so far. I know there's only 8 games in, but there's enough to get our teeth into, pick out the performers, the ones that have impressed us the most. But there's a twist. We're only using players from clubs that are not in the traditional top 6 of the Premier League. So there'll be no Man United, there'll be no Liverpool players, just players from the other 14. I've got my 11 here and I want to know your 11s as well. So get them in the comments below. I'll be reading them all. I'll be replying to them all as well. And your interaction will be gratefully appreciated on this channel. But before we get into the team, I need a favour. Can you subscribe to the channel, please? It's completely free. If you look under the video, there's a word. It says subscribe, believe it or not. It's pretty self-explanatory. Just click it and you'll make me a happy boy. And you won't miss another video, which will probably make you slightly unhappier than it's going to make me. But anyway, that all said and done, let's take a look at my 11. Got a few controversies thrown in here. That's why I want to see your 11, see who you agree and disagree with. But start with the goalkeeper position. I found this one easy. I think Kasper Schmeichel's had a good year for Leicester so far. I think Darlow's been very impressive for Newcastle. Not ideal planning for them, losing their goalkeeper. But I think he's stepped in, been really good, and it's going to be difficult to drop him. However, the guy going into my 11 is Martinez of Aston Villa. 4 clean sheets in 8. Villa are flying at the start of the season. They still are. They're 6th in the league. We all knew he was good. We've seen him at Arsenal. And I think most people would have thought this is a good signing for Villa. But us thinking it and us seeing it is two different things. We are seeing it. Usually when a club buys someone for £20 million, the club spending the money is the one taking the gamble. They are taking the risk on the player. However, in this instance, and it's quite rare in my opinion, is that Arsenal were the club taking the punt here. They were hoping that he wouldn't be worth 20 million and so on and so forth. It's looking like a bargain already. If he continues this form throughout the season, Villa will be laughing that they only got him for 20 million quid. What a season he's having so far. Top saves. Yeah, very impressive. Easy pick into Gio's 11 so far. Right, we're going to move on to the right back. There's a few players, a few contenders for this one. Some really good players so far this season. Kyle Walker-Peters, I think, has been brilliant for Southampton. I almost put Matty Cash in. I hummed and hawed about this one. They're over 2 players. Matty Cash is the one that just misses out. I'm sure he'll be gutted. But I think he's been brilliant since he's moved from Forest. Again, a bit like Martinez, it's not risky. There's a lot of evidence there to support that it was going to be a successful signing. But he's stepped up to the Premier League and looks fantastic, doesn't he? But I'm going to go for Tariq Lamptey. Every time I watch Brighton, I think he's their main attacking threat, to be honest with you, from the wing-back position. Defensively, can be a little bit suspect, but he's learning. He's a young kid, and we speak of bargains from Cash and Martinez. Well, under £1 million for this guy. That's not just a bargain, that's good scouting. He's come in, he looks fantastic. He's had a really good season so far. He's come up against really good left-backs and left midfielders. He's kept the left midfielders quiet when he needs to, and he's troubled the left-backs when he needs to. It's a difficult role, the wing-back, but he's made it look easy. I actually enjoy watching him play for Brighton. When I've watched Brighton this season, I wanted to see him on the ball, wanted to see him making those runs. Skillful player. He gets in there. Easy decision, actually. But left back wasn't. I'm going to switch over to the other side of the back 4 now. And while I think there's a few contenders because of how well they performed at right back, everyone at left back's been solid without outstanding, if that makes sense. I almost put Lucas Dean in, but I'm aware that he's sort of my favourite non-West Ham left back in the league, so I've stayed away from him. Good start to the season, but that'll do. And that left 2. Stuart Dallas is the one I'm not picking. Whenever I watch these, I think he's been brilliant, gets forward really well, defensively pretty solid, but the one player I'm going to go for is probably the controversial one out of the 11, actually. I'm looking at my team now. There's maybe one other one that people will disagree with, but this is the most controversial one. I'm going to put Christian Fuchs in, the Leicester player. I know he's been playing sort of left centre back, so it's a bit difficult. I'm doing a back 4 and stuff. But I've been very impressed by him. I think he's been brilliant. He's been rolling back the years. Occasionally he's played behind Luke Thomas, the young lad. He's been having to sort of help him through the game and stuff. But I think Christian Fuchs has been brilliant. I watched the game, I can't remember who they played a couple of weeks ago. Man of the match for me. He was just unbelievable. He's that good. So I know a lot of people will be thinking, what the hell? There's probably even Leicester fans wondering what I'm doing. But I am putting Christian Fuchs at left back for my team of the season so far. And that's all there is to it. Right, centre backs. I'm a West Ham fan. For those who don't know, it's kind of obvious. I'm a West Ham fan, and I was trying to stay away from West Ham players, and he's my only hammer. But I'm going to put Bona in here as my first centre-back. I think he's been magnificent for West Ham, a real leader. He's come up against top strikers this season and kept them quiet. Kane's the only one that's really scored that I put in that elite bracket of strikers. Jamie Vardy, Raul Jimenez, Aguero, all kept quiet with Ogbonna at the heart of that defence. I think he goes in there. And partnering was a struggle. There's three contenders. Tyrone Mings is one. I mean, I keep in the back of my head, I'm like, stop picking Aston Villa players, but they've just been that impressive. Tyrone Mings has been brilliant, but I'm going to exclude him. I think Vestergaard at Southampton has really stepped up this season. They've kept 4 clean sheets in 8 as well. But I'm going to go with Fofana of Leicester. I know he's only played a few games, but he has looked absolutely class in all 4 of them in the Premier League. He's come in, the way he reads the game, his tackling, everything about him. You're just watching him play, and you're thinking, this guy's good. This guy continues this season. He's going to become a top player in the Premier League. So I'm going to put Fofana in my back 4 alongside Ogbonna of West Ham. Now I'm going to keep the midfield as a flat 4. I'm not going to lie. I'm taking the easy way out here. I like a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3. But when I was compiling my 11, I found myself struggling with the strikers. There's too many of them. So I switched up and went 4-4-2. Now the next 2 players are easy. They go in. Everybody's going to have these, I think. I'll be surprised if I read the comments. 90% don't have these 2 players. So the first one's James Rodriguez of Everton. In he comes. Big expectation, big name. Somewhat struggled on the bigger stage, and it was a case of can he do it? Can he come to the Premier League and light it up? He's got the reputation. We all know he's got the ability. But he's doing it at Everton. What a joy to watch. His through balls are just second to none in the Premier League. 3 goals, 3 assists so far for Everton. He's an exciting talent, isn't he? He goes in. And then on the other side, on the left, is Jack Grealish, the first name on the team sheet. I think most people will have him. Outstanding this season. I thought he was good. He started last season good. I think post-lockdown he was excellent. This season, could we say world class? I think he's been putting in world class performances. He has just been ridiculously good for Aston Villa this season. Really stepped it up. He's gone up that extra notch, hasn't he? He's really taken his game up there. He's thriving. He's got a good partnership with Ross Barkley already. Probably player of the season so far, to be honest with you, out the whole Premier League, not just the other 14, out the whole Premier League. He's up there in terms of performances so far. 4 goals, 5 assists in the Premier League. Remarkable. Now, moving into the centre midfield, I'm going to put, this is one of my favourite players in Premier League, so a bit biased, but James Ward-Prowse was one of the first players I put in. Captain, made captain last season at the end of it, and this season I think he's been brilliant, controls the game. Sometimes I think him and Romeo have got difficult jobs because most teams play with 3 in the middle now, or they play with 2 in the middle and have a guy that sits in the middle of the pitch in the number 10 role. Southampton don't do that. Southampton continue to play with their flat 4 in midfield, which means that Romeo and Ward-Prowse, in theory, should be outnumbered for most games. But he's still controlling the midfield, and he's obviously scored a couple of outstanding free kicks. But ignore his free kicks. He's the best piece taker in the league. I mean corners as well, and free kicks that are not direct shots at goal when he's crossing it in. All round set pieces. James Ward-Prowse is the best in the league. This season he's continued that. But I think his open play game is just fantastic. I'll be disappointed if he's not in the England squad for the Euros. Actually, I do think he's got that much ability. I think he's having that good a season. Next to James Ward-Prowse, I struggled with this one. There's a few contenders. Tielemans of Leicester, I almost put him in there. But saying that, I've been impressed by Mendy. Actually, I'm a big Ndidi fan. I think Ndidi's the best defensive midfielder in the league. Him and Fabinho, I think, are up there as the 2, and then there's players below them like Declan Rice and that. But I'm a big fan of Ndidi. But Mendy's come in. He's probably been one of the most improved players this season in the Premier League, Mendy. But Tielemans was what I considered. Bissouma, I think he's been brilliant for Brighton. Anguissa at Fulham, I think while Fulham have struggled a little bit to get points on the board, every time I watch them, he's controlling the game. He just looks class. He's rolling back to the form he had as to why Fulham bought him in the first place. Alan at Everton, I thought started strongly. I think he's going to be one of the signings of the season come the end of it. Come May, when we look back, then we'll look at him and think what a signing he was. because players like him allowed players like Ahmed Rodriguez to go and play. But the player I'm going to put in is Klitsch of Leeds. I think he's been brilliant, but in two different roles. He sort of started the season as number 10, got a couple of goals and assists to his name, and then with the injury of Callum Phillips, he's had to drop back into a deeper role. But I think he's done both brilliantly. I think whenever I watched Leeds, he's always looked like an 8 out of 10 performer, if you like. So I'm going to put him in there next to James Ward-Prowse. And that's my midfield 4, really. So that leaves 2 position, the front 2. And everybody's going to have different ones for this striker's role, I think. Jamie Vardy is obviously going to be up there, one of the top goal scorers this season. But I'm not picking him. I think he's been good, but that's it. I think some of his goals is penalties, and it's a bit harsh to sort of say, well, they don't count because they're pens, because they do count. But I just think his all-round game's just not quite as good as it was a few years ago. I'm aware it's his age. Jamie's not making my 11. The other player that I feel a bit harsh on leaving out is Ollie Watkins. I think he's stepped up, gone to Villa and done superb so far, hasn't he? He's looked really good. But there has been 1 or 2 games I've watched where Ollie's been quite quiet. He's not really been in the game very much. So for that reason, I'm going to leave him. Danny Ings, if anyone knows me from my West Ham channel, Hammers Chat, they'll know I'm a lover of Danny Ings. He doesn't make my 11. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is probably the most obvious one. He goes in. Do you know sometimes you get players wrong, and when I say wrong, I mean massively wrong. You have an opinion on a player, then he just goes on to make your opinion look stupid. That's Calvert-Lewin to me. 2 or 3 years ago, I don't think he was good enough for Everton. I remember thinking and saying that I think they need to get in a top striker, because obviously Lukaku had left. I thought, and then they had 1 or 2 strikers come in and didn't quite work. Got Keane in, didn't quite work, and I remember thinking you need to get someone else, because that Calvert-Lewin ain't going to do it. Well, last season he was fantastic. He's continued to form into this season. One of the best in the air, actually. When you look at him, he doesn't look like someone that would be that good. He's quite skinny, isn't he? But when the ball goes in the box, his positioning's second to none. His heading ability is fantastic. In he goes, 8 goals this season. Fantastic start. And next to him, I'm going to put Patrick Bamford. He's a player that would, out of all the players that come into the Premier League from Leeds, West Brom and Fulham, he's the one that most people are probably looking at going, can he do it in the Premier League? It's been a thing, hasn't it? It's been a theme. Can Bamford do it in the Premier League? He might be a bit like Pookie at the minute, where he fades towards the end of the season, but he's doing it. 7 goals to his name, an absolute hat-trick against Villa. But the class of the goals he scored against Villa in particular were outstanding. You know, they were all different. He had his individual goals, he had the striker kind of goals. He misses a few chances, but my rule of thumb is anyone that's missing lots of chances means they're reading the game well, they're getting into the positions, and I think that's sometimes harder. And if you're doing that, almost the law of averages suggests you will eventually start scoring goals, and that's what Bamford's doing. 7 goals, he goes into that 11, and that's it really. That is my team. Let me know if you agree or disagree. I feel bad really, because what have I got? 1 Leicester player in there, and they're 2. Sorry, I've got 2 Leicester players. They're top of the league though. I do like Harvey Barnes. Harvey Barnes is one of my favourite players. I'd like to have got him in there, but he plays in Grealish's position, doesn't he? So you can't really do that. No Wolves players is somewhat surprising to myself, given that I like Wolves, but there's not really been any standout performers for them yet. Maybe Kilman at the back, but I think O'Connor's been a bit better. Anyway, I want to know your 11s. Get them written out in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe, and if you can, please drop a like on the video. I'll appreciate it. I'm going to do a bit more content on this channel. It'll be very generic Premier League stuff. I might do some previews, maybe some reviews, some discussions on hot topics around the Premier League. I like a card bet. I do like a player card bet, so I'll maybe try and do some videos on that as well. But if you've got any suggestions for topics, please put them in the comments. Like I said, I'm going to read all the comments to this video. I want to say a massive thank you to Charlie. Charlie's edited this video up, made it look pretty. All I've done is sit and talk nonsense for 15 minutes nearly. Charlie's done all the editing and stuff, so a massive thank you to him. He's started his own little YouTube adventure. The link to Charlie's channel is in the description as well, so if you're feeling extra generous, click on that and go subscribe to his as well, and you make 2 of us happy, all in the space of about 30 seconds. Anyway, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll just catch you in a bit.